Om Jnanam Timrandasya Jnanajanaşalakaya Çakşuranam Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manavishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swarupam Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Jayagana Gunatha Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhuvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pradan Sayagan Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitam Cha नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णा पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाशदेश तारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपे कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंचा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। So we are starting with the new chapter, God and His energies. Yes, Prabhuji. Hello, Ashwini Prabhuji.
Yeah. The Upanishad explains that whatever we see, whether animate or inanimate, is controlled by the Supreme Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna says the same thing in the Bhagavad Gita 9.10, that his energies are managing everything. And the Vishnu Puran confirms, Ekadesh istitasya gnir jyotsna vistarini yatha, as heat and light are distributed all around by a fire situated in one place. So the whole creation is a manifestation of energies expended from the Supreme Lord. For example, the sun is in one place, but it is distributing its heat and light all over the universe. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is distributing his material and spiritual energies all over the creation.
Naveen Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I'll read in later. I'm just finishing my dinner.
Okay, Prabhuji. Prabhu.
Energy is present in this temporary material world, but it is covered by the material energy. For example, the sun is always shining in the sky. No one can stop the sun from shining, but it is sometimes covered by a cloud. When this happens, the sunshine on the ground is dim. The more the sun is covered, the dimmer the sunlight. But this covering of the sun is partial. All the sun, all the sunshine cannot be covered. That is not possible. An insignificant portion of the sunshine may be covered by a cloud. Similarly, the material world is an insignificant portion of the spiritual world that is covered by the material energy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Swati Mataji.
Hare Krishna. What is the material energy? The material energy is just another form of the spiritual energy. It manifests when there is an absence of spiritual activity. Again, the analogy of the sun and the cloud. What is a cloud? It is an effect of the sunshine. The sunshine evaporates water from the sea and a cloud is formed. The sun is the cause of the cloud. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is the cause of this material energy which covers our vision.
Anushka Mataji.
Hare Krishna Project. In this way, two energies are working in this material world, the spiritual energy and the material energy. The material energy consists of 8 material elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are arranged from the grosser to the finer. Water is finer than the earth, fire is finer than the water, etc.
Kanak.
Hare Krishna. So the finer the element, the more powerful it is. For example, at the speed of the mind, you can go many thousands of miles within a second. But even more powerful than the wind is the intelligence. And even more powerful than the intelligence is spiritual energy. What is spiritual energy? That is stated by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 7.5. Aparyam itastav anyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam. Beyond my inferior material energy is another energy which is spiritual. It comprises the living entities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We living entities are also energy, but superior energy. How are we superior? Because we can control the inferior energy, matter. Matter has no power to act on its own. The big airplane can fly so nicely in the sky, but unless the spiritual energy, the pilot is there, it is useless. The jet plane, the jet plane will sit in the jet plane will sit in the airport for thousands of years. It will not fly unless the small particle of spiritual energy, the pilot comes and touches it. So, what is the difficulty in understanding God? There are so many huge machines that cannot move without the touch of the spiritual energy or living being. Then how can you argue that this whole mental energy works automatically without any control? Who would put forward such a foolish argument? Therefore, those who cannot understand how this mental energy is being controlled by the Supreme Lord are less intelligent. The godless men who believe that this mental energy is working automatically are fools. Deepak Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
The statement of the Ishopanishad is that everything animate or inanimate is controlled and owned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he is the Supreme Controller. He is also the Supreme Proprietor. In our practical experience, we see that the man who controls a business establishment is the proprietor. Similarly, since God is the controller of this material world, he is also its proprietor. This means that as far as possible, we should engage everything in the Lord's service.
Yes.
Then,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Now
then what about our own needs? That is explained in the Ishopanishad. One should accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. Krishna conscious means to understand things as they are. So if we simply understand these principles, we will be well situated in Krishna conscious.
Yes. So we are moving to the next chapter, the position of Krishna. Ashwini Prabhuji.
The Ishopanishad states, although fixed in his abode, the personality of Godhead is swifter than the mind and can overcome all other running. The powerful demigods cannot approach him, although in one place he controls those who supply the air and rain. He surpasses all in excellence. The Brahma Samhita says something similar. Goloke eva nivastei akhilatma bhuta. Although Krishna is always in Golok Vrindavan, he is simultaneously in the hearts of all living beings.
Yeah. Ishu Prabhu.
Krishna has no duties to perform in Goloka. He is simply enjoying in the company of his associates, the gopis, the cowherd boys, his mother and his father, his cows and calves, etc. He is completely free, and his associates are even freer than he is, because when they see because when they seem to be in danger, Krishna feels some anxiety about how to save them, but his associates feel no anxiety. They simply think, oh, Krishna is there, he will protect us. When Krishna enacted his pastime 5,000 years ago in Vrindavan, India, he would go every day with his cowherd boy friends and their calves and cows to play in the forest on the bank of Yamuna River. And often Kamsa would send some demon to try to kill Krishna and his friends. Yet the cowherd boys would continue enjoying their pastime without anxiety, because they were so confident of Krishna's protection. That is spiritual life, which begins with surrendering to Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Surrendering to Krishna means having strong faith that Krishna will save us in any dangerous. The first step in surrendering is that we should accept whatever is favorable for devotional service. Then we should reject anything that is unfavorable for devotional service. The next stage is the confidence that in any situation Krishna will protect us and maintain. Actually, he is already giving protection and maintenance. That is a fact. But in Maya or illusion, we think that we are protecting ourselves, that we are feeding.
Okay.
For the devotees, Krishna personally takes charge of their protection and maintenance. And for the ordinary living entities, Maya Devi, Krishna's external energy, takes charge. Maya Devi is Krishna's agent for punishing the conditioned souls. So the situation is like what we see in the state. Good citizens are taken care of by the government directly, while criminals are taken care of by the government through the prison department. In the prison house, the government takes care that the prisoners get sufficient food and that they get hospital treatment if they become diseased. The government cares for them, but under punishment.
Similarly, in this material world, Krishna has certainly arranged for our care, but also for our punishment. If you commit this sin, then slap. If you commit that sin, then kick. This is going to be under the heading of the threefold mysteries, those caused by our own body and mind, those casual by other living entities, and those caused by natural calamities under the supervision of the demigods. Unfortunately, instead of understanding that we are being punished for sinful activities under the spell of Maya, we are thinking that this kicking, slapping, and thrashing are accidental. This is illusion. Hare Krishna.
As soon as as soon as you take up Krishna consciousness, Krishna begins personally taking care of you. As he promises in Bhagavad Gita 8.6, I will take care of you. I will save you from all sinful reactions. Do not worry. Because we have had so many lives in this material world. We are suffering under the heaps of sinful reactions. But as soon as you surrender to Krishna, he immediately takes care of you and nullifies all your sinful reactions. Krishna says, don't hesitate. Don't think, oh, I have committed so many sins. How can Krishna save me? No, Krishna is all powerful. He can save you. Your duty is to surrender to him and without any reservation dedicate your life to his service. Then Krishna will save you without a doubt. Yes, we are moving to next chapter, Krishna, a seeming paradox. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. The Ishopanishad states the Supreme Lord walks and does not walk. He is far away. But he is very near as well. He is within everything and yet he is outside of everything. How can Krishna walk and also not walk? As a crude example, consider how the sun at noontime shines on your head. Now, if you begin walking, you will see that the sun is accompanying you. About 40 years ago, when I was a householder, I was once walking with my second son in the evening. He was 4 years old. All of a sudden, he said, "Oh, father, why is the moon following us?" You see, the moon and the sun are fixed in the sky, yet they seem to be moving with us. Similarly, if we are going on an airplane or a train, you will see that the moon or the sun is going with you. So if this is possible for the sun and the moon, why can't Krishna also walk with you? Although he is situated far away, he is very near as well. In other words, although Krishna is in Golok Vrindavan, enjoying pastimes with his associates, he is simultaneously everywhere in this material world. In this way, the Supreme Lord walks and does not walk.
If Krishna were not present here as well as in Goloka, how could he accept the food the devotees offer him? Don't think that Krishna does not accept the devotees' offerings. He can stretch his hand immediately if one offers him something with devotion. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.26, Krishna says, Tad aham bhakti uprahatam asnami. Whenever someone offers me something with faith and love, I accept it. People may ask, oh, Krishna is far away in Golok Vrindavan. How can he eat your offering? Yes, he accepts it. Yes, he eats it provided it is offered with love.
So Krishna is present everywhere and he can manifest himself anywhere immediately. but you must have the qualification to call him. If you are actually a devotee, Krishna will immediately come to protect you. The demon Hiranyakashipu challenged his son, the devotee Prahlad, "Where is your God?" You say he is everywhere. Then is he in this column of my palace? You think your God is there? All right, then I will kill him. Hiranyakashipu immediately broke the column. Then Krishna came out of the column in his form as Narsimdev, half man and half lion, and killed the demon. That is Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So Krishna can manifest himself anywhere because he is present anywhere, everywhere. That is explained in Isha Upanishad. Tad antrasya sarvasya tad sarvasya bhayata. The Supreme Lord is within everything, and yet he is outside of everything as well. This Vedic mantra proves that Lord is everywhere. Whatever is said in the Vedas is a fact. Unless you accept the Vedas as ex- axiomatic truth, axiomatic truth. No, uh, you cannot make a progress in Krishna consciousness. In mathematics, there are many axiomatic truths. A point has no length or breadth. Things equal to the same things are equal to one another, etc. These are axiomatic truths, and we have to accept them if we want to learn mathematics. Similarly, the Veda contains axiomatic truths that we have to accept the Vedas as axiomatic if we want to make spiritual progress. Hare Krishna.
Sometimes the Vedas seem to contradict themselves, but still we have to accept all the Vedic injunctions. For example, according to Vedic injunctions, if you touch the bone of an animal, you immediately become impure and must take a bath. Now, a conch shell is the bone of an animal, but the conch shell is used in the deity role. So everything must be spotlessly pure. You cannot argue, oh, you said that a bone is impure, and that as soon as you touch it, you become impure. Still, you are putting a conch shell in the deity role. No, there is no room for such an argument. You have to accept that while things are pure, the conch shell is so pure that it can be used in the deity.
Similarly, you have to accept that spiritual masters' order are as axiomatic. There can be no argument. In this way, you can make progress. You cannot argue about things that are inconceivable to you. You will only fail. You have to accept the Vedic injunctions and the orders of the spiritual master as axiomatic truth. This is not dogmatic because our predecessor spiritual masters accepted this principle. If you argue with your spiritual master, you will never reach a conclusion. The argument will go on perpetually. You put some argument, I put some argument. That is not process.
As the Mahabharata says, Tarko Pratisha Srute Vibhana, mere logic and argument. Mere logic and argument can never come to a mere firm conclusion, and due to different countries and different circumstances, one scripture is different from another. Then nasavrasar yasa matam na bhinnam. As far as philosophical speculation is concerned, one philosopher put forward some theory, and then another philosopher puts forward another theory, and the theories always contradict each other. Unless you defeat another philosopher, you cannot be a famous philosopher. That is the way of philosophy. Then how can one learn the conclusive philosophical truth? That is stated, Dharmasya Tattvam Nehattam Guhyam. The secret of the real religious process is lying within the hearts of the self-realized souls. Then how do you realize it? Mahajano Yana Gatasa Pantha. You have to follow in the footsteps of great spiritual personalities. Therefore, we are trying to follow Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya. That is perfection. You have to accept the injection of the Vedas and you have to follow the instructions of the bona fide spiritual master. Then success is sure. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so I think we can stop here and start with the learnings and the reflections. Yes, Prabhuji, Ashwini Prabhuji.
Yes, Pujit. हरे कृष्णा.
Yes, Prabhuji.
और जितना जल्दी स्टॉप कर रहे हैं हम लोग एक
20 minutes.
Okay, continue कर सकते हैं.
Do you want to read more?
मैंने लगा कि आप काफी कंटेंट पढ़ा आज तो शायद इसलिए. You can
Okay.
continue.
Screen.
Starting with the next chapter,
So
the Lord.
yeah, तो मुझे ये
Okay, Prabhuji. Please start, Prabhuji.
the mirror turn है ना bro?
Fuji, your voice is breaking.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Oh, okay. Sorry. अभी आ रही है क्या आवाज?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
yes, Fuji.
Okay. मेरा टर्न है क्या उदित रू?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes. Please,
Okay, sorry.
sorry. आपका
So,
नहीं है, Prabhuji.
okay.
Sorry. It's my turn. The Lord and His energy, one and different. The Isha Upanishad states, one who always sees all living entities as spiritual sparks, in quality, one with the Lord, becomes a true knower of the things. What then can cause him illusion or anxiety? This realization in Krishna consciousness. There are different kinds of realization, but the devotee of Krishna realizes the truth that we are qualitatively one with the Lord, but quantitatively different from Him. The impersonalists think that we are 100% one with the Lord or the Supreme Absolute Truth, but that is not a fact. If we are 100% one with the Supreme Lord, then how we have come under the control of Maya, illusion? The impersonalist cannot answer this question. Yes, Prabhuji. Deepak Prabhu?
Yes, Fuji, sorry. The real nature of our identity with the Supreme is described in the Vedic literature with the analogy of the sparks and the fire. The sparks of fire have the same quality as the fire, yet they are different in quantity. But when the smallest spark leaves the fire and falls down in the water, its fiery quality is lost. Similarly, when the infinitesimal soul leaves the associates of the Lord and contacts the mode of ignorance, his spiritual quality become almost extinct. When a spark falls on the land instead of in the water, then the spark retains some heat. Similarly, when the living entity is in the quality of passion, there is some hope that he can revive his Krishna consciousness. And if the spark drops onto the dry grass, it can ignite another fire and regain all its fiery qualities. Similarly, a person who is a mode of goodness can take full advantage of his spiritual association and easily revive his Krishna consciousness. Therefore, one has to come to the platform of goodness in this material world.
Naveen Prabhuji?
Again, the analogy of the fire can help us understand the.
Sorry. Yes, Prabhuji.
Again, the analogy of the fire can help us understand the simultaneous oneness and difference of the Lord and His diverse energies. Fire has two main energies, heat and light. Wherever there is fire, there is heat and light. Now, the heat is not different from the fire, nor is the light. But still, heat and light are not fire. Now, the heat is not, Similarly, the whole universe can be understood in this way. The universe is simply made up of Krishna's energies, and therefore nothing is different from Krishna. But still, Krishna is separate from everything in the material universe.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Ashwin Prabhuji. Okay, he left. Swati Mataji.
So whatever we see within the material or the spiritual world is but an extension of Krishna's multifaceted essence. This material world is an extension of Krishna's external energy, Bahiranga Shakti, and the spiritual world is an extension. His internal energy, Antaranga Shakti, and we living entities are an expansion of his marginal energy, Tathastha Shakti. We are Shakti, energy, we are not the energetic.
The Mayavadi philosophers say that because the energies are not outside of Brahman, the energetic, they are all identical with Brahman. This is monism. Our Vaishnava philosophy is that the energy is simultaneously one with and different from the energetic. Again, the analogy of the heat and fire. When you perceive heat, you understand that there is fire nearby. But this does not mean that because you feel some heat, you are in the fire. So the heat and the fire, the energy and the energetic are one yet different.
So the Mayavadi philosophy of oneness and our Vaishnava philosophy or oneness are different. The Mayavadis say Brahman is real, but that the energy emanating from Brahman is false. We say that because Brahman is real, his energy must also be real. That is the difference between Mayavadi philosophy and Vaishnava philosophy. One can claim that this material energy is false, although it is certainly temporary. Suppose we have some trouble. There are so many kinds of trouble pertaining to the body and mind and external affairs. That trouble comes and goes, but when we are undergoing it, it is certainly real. We feel the consequence. We cannot say it is false. The Mayavadi philosophers say that it is false. But then why do they become so disturbed when they have some trouble? No, none of Krishna's energy is false. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, issue प्रभु जी, sorry, वो मैं skip कर दिया था मैं आपको, sorry.
The issue pressure uses the word Vijayananta, one who knows, to describe the person who understands the oneness and the difference of the Lord and his energies. If one is not Vijnanata, one who will remain in illusion and suffer. But for one who knows, there is no illusion, no lamentation. When you are perfectly conceived that there is nothing except Krishna and Krishna's energy, then there is no illusion or lamentation for you. This is known as Brahma Bhuta stage. As explained in Bhagavad Gita 18.54, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma na sochati na kanchati. Whose transcendental state of Brahma realization becomes fully joyful, and he never laments or desires to anything.
Okay, Deepak Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu ji, Deepak Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji, yes, Prabhuji.
Please.
For our sense gratification, we are very eager to get things we do not have. That is hankering, and when we lost something, we lament. But if we know that Krishna is the source and proprietor of the entire material energy, we understand that everything belongs to him, and that anything gained is given by him for his service. Thus, we do not hanker for the things of this world. Furthermore, if something is taken away by Krishna, then what is the need of for lamentation? We should think, Krishna wanted to take it away from me, therefore why should I lament? The Supreme Lord is the cause of all causes. He takes away, he also gives. When one is thus in full knowledge, there is no more lamentation and no more hankering. That is the spiritual platform. Then you can see everyone as a spiritual spark, as part and parcel of Krishna, and as his eternal servant.
Okay, so we can stop here. Oh, sorry. Can we stop here, Navin Prabhu ji?
Yes, Prabhuji. I think after 8:25 we can stop anytime whenever there is a logical stop. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think we can start with Mataji's. Yeah.
Okay, Prabhu ji. Swati Mataji.
हाँ, हरे कृष्ण। तो इसमें प्रभुपाद जी मोस्टली जो भगवान की एनर्जीज है उनके बारे में बता रहे थे कि जैसे बताया कि बहिरंगा शक्ति होती है भगवान की, जिसके थ्रू ये मटेरियल वर्ल्ड बनता है, एंड देन देयर इज द स्पिरिचुअल एनर्जी और द अंतरंगा शक्ति, तो जिससे कि स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड बनता है। वी आर आल्सो द एनर्जी जिसको बोलते हैं तथा शक्ति, मार्जिनल एनर्जी, तो उससे ये हम लोग बनते हैं बेसिकली। और वी कैन से दैट जीव जो भी है इस मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में वो लोग क्रिएट होते हैं। तो जो मायावादीज होते हैं वो बेसिकली फिलॉसफी को नहीं मानते हैं। वो बोलते हैं कि जो ब्रह्मांड में वो बेसिकली बिलीव करते हैं। प्लस ये भी बताया यहाँ पे कि जो भगवान है वो मतलब जैसे एग्जाम्पल दिया है प्रभुपाद जी ने मून का कि मून है या सन है, वो हमें ऐसा लगता है कि हमें वो फॉलो कर रहे हैं। तो सिमिलरली भगवान भी ही वॉक्स और ही डज नॉट वॉक, मतलब वो वैसे हमारे साथ हैं ही हमेशा। और जो डिवोटीज होते हैं इसलिए भगवान उन्हें पर्सनल केयर भी देते हैं। तो एक और एग्जांपल मुझे अच्छा लगा था कि जैसे प्रभुपाद बता रहे थे गोलोक वृंदावन में भगवान ऐसे, मतलब कुछ काम नहीं है वहाँ, तो उनके पास वो तो एंजॉय करते हैं वहाँ पे अपने काउ हर्ड बॉयज के साथ, काउस के साथ वो वहाँ एंजॉय करते हैं। और अगर वहाँ पे जो डिवोटीज भी होते हैं ना, उनकी लाइफ में कोई एंजाइटी होती भी है, दे स्टिल फील हैप्पी, क्योंकि उनके उनको उनके पास कोई एंजाइटी है, कुछ प्रॉब्लम, आई मीन कोई प्रॉब्लम है, तो देयर इज गॉड टू टेक केयर ऑफ देम। तो भगवान को उतनी एंजाइटी होती है, वो अपने आप टेक केयर करते हैं अपने डिवोटीज की। तो इसलिए जो डिवोटीज होते हैं या जो सेल्फ रियलाइज सोल्स हैं, दे ऑलवेज रिमेन इन हैप्पी कंडीशन, हमेशा खुश रहते हैं। उन्हें किसी चीज की ना हैंकरिंग होती है ना लेमेंटेशन होता है, क्योंकि हैंकरिंग मतलब उन्हें अगर कुछ चीज उनसे चली भी जाती है तो दे नो कि ये कृष्णा की थी, कृष्णा ने हमसे वो ले ली। तो सिमिलरली मतलब यहाँ बता रहे थे कि दैट इज व्हाई दे ऑलवेज रिमेन इन हैप्पी कंडीशन। या दैट इज माय रियलाइजेशन।
Oh, thank you, Mataji. That includes everything, I think. Anushka Mataji.
जी प्रभु जी, जैसे स्वाति माता जी ने बताया वो एनर्जीज के बारे में, तो एनर्जीज में यही था कि स्पिरिचुअल एनर्जी यहाँ पे है बट इट इज़ कवर्ड विद द मटेरियल वन। तो एक पॉइंट ये था, जैसे प्रभुपाद जी ने एग्जांपल भी दिया था कि वो सन वाला, कि सन मतलब यहाँ पे हमेशा है बट इट इज़ समटाइम्स कवर्ड विद द क्लाउड। ऑल्दो वो क्लाउड उसको पूरी तरह कवर नहीं कर पाएगा बट स्टिल टू सम एक्सटेंट वो कवर हो जाता है। एंड फिर हमें जैसे लिविंग एंटिटीज को बताया था प्रभुपाद जी ने कि वो हम सुपीरियर एनर्जी हैं। तो हम कैसे सुपीरियर हैं, तो सुपीरियर इस वे में कि हम बैटर जो है वो इन्फीरियर एनर्जी है। कि जैसे वो पायलट और एयरप्लेन वाला एग्जांपल दिया था प्रभुपाद जी ने कि वो उसको हम फ्लाई नहीं कर सकते अनलेस कोई पायलट आके उसको फ्लाई ना करे। तो इसमें पायलट जो हो गया वो स्पिरिचुअल एनर्जी है और एयरप्लेन जो हो गया वो इन्फीरियर एनर्जी हो। जब तक स्पिरिचुअल एनर्जी नहीं है ये इन्फीरियर एनर्जी भी वर्क नहीं करेगी। तो ये यही पॉइंट था।
Exactly, Mataji.
थैंक यू।
Thank you. Kanak.
हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna.
तो माय रियलाइजेशन था कि सबसे पहले तो मेन पॉइंट तो यही था कि whatever human we are as a human, whatever we are building, whether it's a air flowing or anything, हम मतलब कितनी भी achievements कर लें but it is in vain until and unless spiritual
Hmm.
and my तो मतलब इससे हमें ये रियलाइज होता है कि मतलब we are superior in every way, कि हम कुछ भी अचीव कर लें बट इट इज नॉट अबव अस। तो हमें ये समझना पड़ेगा हमारी क्या इम्पोर्टेंस है एंड हु क्रिएटेड अस, तो उसकी क्या इम्पोर्टेंस है एंड व्हाट ही एक्सपेक्ट फ्रॉम अस। देन सेकंड पॉइंट आई रियलाइज्ड कि एक स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर की कितनी ज़्यादा नीड है हमारी लाइफ में, बिकॉज ही इज द वन हु इज गाइडिंग अस ऑन एवरी स्टेप। और हमें सक्सेस तभी मिल सकती है जब हम एक बोनाफाइड स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर को फॉलो करें। अनटिल एंड अनलेस हम अपने माइंड से चलते रहेंगे अपनी स्पेकुलेशन से, so it will eventually destroy us. And third realization was that कि हमें अपनी फिलॉसफी क्लियर रखनी है कि हम वैष्णव फिलॉसफी से जाएंगे या मायावादी फिलॉसफी से, बिकॉज देयर इज डिफरेंस बिटवीन द टू। हमें ये समझना पड़ेगा एनर्जी अलग है और एनर्जेटिक अलग है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल फायर अलग है और फायर की हीट अलग है, स्टिल दे आर वन, बट स्टिल वी कांट मतलब कंपेयर या ये नहीं बोल सकते कि फायर सुपीरियर है या हीट सुपीरियर है। दैट्स लाइक गॉड, कि हमें डिफरेंशिएट करना पड़ेगा गो बिटवीन गॉड एंड हिज एनर्जीज। अगर हम मान रहे हैं एनर्जीज आर रियल, गॉड इज आल्सो रियल, बट वी इफ वी आर बिलीविंग इन यूटिलाइजिंग द एनर्जीज ऑफ गॉड, हम सोच रहे हैं हम रियल है बिकॉज वी आर द एनर्जी ऑफ गॉड, और ये सोच रहे हैं कि गॉड रियल नहीं है, तो हाउ इज दैट पॉसिबल? So that is my realization. Thank you.
Thank you. Deepak Prabhu.
प्रो जी जस्ट टू और थ्री पॉइंट्स जो मुझे पसंद आए थे, लाइक कि प्रभुपाद जी एक एनालॉजी बताते हैं अच्छे से समझने के लिए, कि डेट हम ना ऑल भगवान हमें ऑलरेडी प्रोटेक्शन एंड मेंटेनेंस दे रहे हैं। कैसे कि प्रभुपाद जी एनालॉजी बताते हैं जेल एंड प्रिजनर वाली, जो जेल में जब हम रहते हैं तो हमें ऑलरेडी खाना पानी और मेडिकल्स वगैरह सारी चीज़ें दी जाती हैं ऑलरेडी, मतलब पनिशमेंट्स के साथ साथ वो भी चीज़ें अवेलेबल रहती हैं। तो हमें ये नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि मतलब ये सोचना चाहिए कि हमें प्रोटेक्शन एंड मेंटेनेंस अगर मतलब हम अपने आप को प्रोपराइटर समझने लगते हैं ना। भूपा जी एक जगह बता रहे थे कि हम अपने आप को प्रोपराइटर समझ लगते हैं कि मैं अपने आप को मेंटेन कर रहा हूँ और मैं ही डिफेंड कर रहा हूँ अपने आप को। तो वो चीज़ हमें नहीं समझनी चाहिए। एंड एक पॉइंट और आया था जिसमें वो एक्सियोमेटिक वाला, जैसे प्रभुपाद जी बता रहे थे कि वेदास में कुछ एक्सियोमेटिक ट्रुथ भी रहता है जो हमें एक्सेप्ट करना चाहिए। जैसे कि मैथ्स में भी रहता है कि पॉइंट है तो उसकी लेंथ एंड ब्रेथ नहीं होती है ना। तो इस तरह से कुछ एक्सियोमेटिक ट्रुथ रहते हैं जो वेदास में दिए रहते हैं, तो वो हमें एक्सेप्ट करना चाहिए। एंड जो गुरु के जो गुरु के जो इंस्ट्रक्शंस रहते हैं उनको भी हमें एक्सोमेटिक ट्रुथ ही एज एक्सेप्ट करना चाहिए। ये नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि मैं ये कर सकता हूँ या नहीं कर सकता हूँ, या फिर ये सच सच सही है कि नहीं है। हमें फुल फेथ के साथ उसे एक्सेप्ट करना चाहिए। तो ये वाला पॉइंट अच्छा लगा था। एंड यस प्रभु जी।
Very nice point, Prabhu ji. Axiomatic truth.
यस
Yes. Ishu Prabhu ji.
Yes, so almost everything is covered. Just few points that in the first chapter, which is that how Prabhupada is explaining the material energy and spiritual energy difference. That material energy is the part of the very large sky of spiritual energy. So in fact, in that part too, we are just a small peak. So we have to understand that where the material energy exists in the spiritual sky, and then we have to start surrendering to Krishna to understand the whole concept, that actually what is happening to us. For this, we have to offer him everything. In fact, you have to surrender him in a mood that you can learn and understand all the things. Then coming to the next thing, that how to approach him by hearing Vedas, and taking all the knowledge from the bona fide spiritual master. As Deepak Prabhu said, that there are certain axiomatic truths which tends to make you to make you in confusion. They will take you in confusion in something that is written in Vedas. Still, you have to follow that under the guidance, in the proper guidance. So at the end, you can cherish it, and you can in the position that you can get that axiomatic truth. Like give an example that how console, that it is made of bone. It's made of bone, but of if it is made of any other animal's bone, it is prohibited, it is impure. But if and still of particular animal, it is pure and it is used in the service of deities. Like another example is cow dung, that stool of any other animal is not being used in the temple, but and cow dung is as pure as anything that is used for painting the walls of temple or even the house. So there are certain truths we have to take as it is. Then we can appreciate the things in Vedas. The next thing is about that how there's a concept of oneness that Mahavadi always propagate, that everything is one, which is not, as we do not feel the pain of others. That is a simple example that how we can understand that everything is not one. Every energy which is there in the human body is acting in the different modes, and these are all different. There is not one. So it is one, which is which is given the understanding that how we are different but not different from Krishna's energy. Yeah, this is what I understand.
Yes, Prabhu ji. Thank you, Prabhu ji. I think yes, everything has already been covered, but my realization is, I think, two we need to inculcate two things into our mind completely. First is faith, and second is dependence. Faith that Krishna is the supreme controller of everything. Because कभी कभी हमारे माइंड में आ जाता है, अरे मैं कर रहा हूँ, मैं नहीं करूँगा तो कैसे होगा. बट वहाँ पे भी ना वो सटल कॉन्शियसनेस पे भी वही आना चाहिए कि मतलब आई एम नॉट द डूअर इज कृष्णा ओनली, एंड एवरीथिंग ही इज द कॉज ऑफ ऑल द कॉजेस. तो दैट फेथ शुड बी देयर. एंड सेकंड इज डिपेंडेंस. लाइक प्रभुपाद बताया ना कि वृंदावन में भी जो कावड़ बॉयज थे, गोपीज थे, वो सब वो डिपेंड रहते थे भगवान के ऊपर, दैट ही विल टेक केयर ऑफ अस. तो so we can also be feel fully dependent on Krishna here also, because it works. जो हम देख सकते हैं, जो आचार्य हैं या फिर और जो वैष्णव हैं, महाराज हैं इतने सारे, तो they are working in this mode only, that they are completely dependent on Krishna for everything, and Krishna is taking care of them. So yes, I think these two features we should inculcate in ourselves, and we should contemplate over them, that faith and dependence, faith on Krishna and dependence on Krishna is very important. Then things will happen here also in this Kali Yuga, in this material world, yeah, as in the spiritual world. Thanks. That's all from my side. Naveen Prabhuji.
थैंक यू प्रभु जी, आपने बहुत अच्छा समराइज किया और सभी लोगों ने सारे पॉइंट्स कवर कर लिए प्रभु जी. बट हाँ, मुझे एक जो पॉइंट बहुत अच्छा लगा था, जो आई थिंक स्वाति माता जी ऑलरेडी कवर्ड, जो कि जो स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड में जैसे डिवोटीज को चिंता नहीं रहती है, चिंता होती है भगवान को ज्यादा चिंता रहती है. एंड सिमिलरली इफ वी कैन डू द सेम सम वे, कि भैया कि अपनी लाइफ में जितनी भी चिंता है, हमें उस चिंता को भगवान को देनी है. हमें बस भगवान का नाम और भगवान के अपने स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ कैसे हम अपना करें, साधना भक्ति कैसे इम्प्रूव करें, और जो भी हमारा प्रैक्टिस हैं वो उन्हें हम पे कैसे करें बस, और बाकी सारी चिंताएं हम भगवान को छोड़ दें. तो एक वो बहुत अच्छा हमारी हेल्थ के लिए, स्पिरिचुअल हेल्थ और फिजिकल हेल्थ दोनों के लिए अच्छा है. एंड अनदर पॉइंट वाज, जो महाभारत का आई थिंक कोट किया था वहां पर प्रभुपाद ने, अबाउट कि रिलीजन प्लेस के अकॉर्डिंग फिलोसफी एंड थिंग्स, यू नो, टाइम प्लेस एंड थोड़े से आप वेरिएशंस दिखेंगे, बट द प्रिंसिपल इज सेम. जो एंड हाउ डू यू नो कि वो सेम है, मतलब यू नीड टू रीच आउट टू द सेल्फ रियलाइज्ड सोल. तो उसमें फिर प्रभुपाद ने बताया था कि वी लाइक फॉलोअर ऑफ कृष्णा एंड चैतन्य महाप्रभु. एंड सिमिलरली एक वो और एग्जांपल लगा था मुझे अच्छा, इट्स वेरी कॉमन कि भगवान का खाने वाला, कि भगवान, हमें लगता है कि कैसे खाएंगे, भगवान थोड़ी यहाँ है, वो तो गोलक वृंदावन में, बट एक्चुअली भगवान खा रहे हैं. बट मेरे मन में बाकी में डिजायर है ऐसी कि भगवान एक बार मेरी प्लेट से पूरा प्रसाद ले लें. तो दैट एंड बट एट द सेम टाइम आई फेल्ट कि जैसा जिस दिन ऐसा हो जाएगा उस दिन मैं शुद्ध भक्त बन जाऊंगा. तो एनीवे दैट्स ऑल प्रभु जी. या
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Anything anyone wants to add?
मुझे बस एक भजन याद आ रहा है जो मेरे बेटे को बहुत पसंद, तो कई बार हमारे साथ में रहना.
Mataji, your voice is breaking.
हरे कृष्णा.
Yes, Mataji.
अब आ रही है. सो आई वाज सेइंग कि मेरे बेटे ने एक्चुअली कल वो भजन कई बार सुना है, तो वो वाला मैं यहाँ से थोड़ा रिलेट कर रही थी, जिसमें वो है ना, हमारे साथ हैं रघुनाथ तो किस बात की चिंता. तो वही मैं सोच रही थी कि उसमें भी यही बोल रहे हैं कि अगर भगवान है साथ में तो क्यों बिना बात से टेंशन लेनी है. बट वही है कि मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में इतना फंसे हुए होते हैं, सोचते हैं कि हम लोग ही हैं जो कर रहे हैं, तो इसलिए टेंशन भी हम ही लेते हैं फिर.
तो ये तो नवीन को बताया ना कि वो बॉडी के लिए बहुत अच्छा है.
नहीं, बहुत अच्छा पॉइंट है. और ये भजन हमें डेली सुनना चाहिए एज अ रिमाइंडर. चलिए प्रभु जी, आई थिंक वी कैन स्टॉप हियर. इट्स 8:45. या आई मीन 7 और 8:15 एट योर एंड.
8:15.
हरे कृष्णा एवरीवन. वंचे कल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.
Thank you everyone for joining. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा.